everybody, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, and welcome to another SpaceX launch. And yes, I'm so excited. These are happening again, and I'm going to call this one a special holiday version, which is why I'm wearing my Falcon Heavy Christmas shirt. Yes! Don't ask me where I got it. I honestly don't remember, but I'm sure if you look up Falcon Heavy Ugly Christmas shirt on the internet, you'll find it. I just absolutely love it. So, of course, this happens. Hello everybody. So first off, a few things. This is an Iridium launch, and Iridium has a new constellation satellite, the NEXT constellation. It's a lot of wonderful communication satellites. And every single launch is 10 inside a single fairing, but this is a special one because this is the first time Iridium is using a reused booster. So this is the fifth reused booster that SpaceX is doing. I'm going to try and turn up the mic. I'm getting some feedback from people. I don't know how that got so low. We're just going to do this. How's this? Is this better? We'll let you know, guys. Let me know. I hope that's better. But so this is an Iridium launch. This is the first time Iridium's using a reflown booster. This is a curious launch because it's a reflown booster, but it has grid fins and nitrogen thrusters, yet it doesn't have landing legs. So we're kind of, yeah, who knows? So we're probably gonna have to learn from the live stream what's exactly going on. But we do know, hopefully, that they're attempting to recover fairings. Actually, we don't know for sure, but there's a new boat called Mr. Steven, which is heading out within the path of the trajectory of the rocket. It has some curious-looking arms that span for a nice net, aka a bouncy castle, as Elon once mentioned. So this is going to be a really cool launch. I'm really curious what they'll talk about in the live stream. Hopefully we learn a lot today. Hopefully this ushers in a new era of reusability of fairings. So we'll see. But it will be funny if they reuse the fairings this time, or capture and repurpose them, but aren't able to recover the booster. But don't forget, this is just a Block 3 booster. This booster, they have a dozen of these laying around at this point now. So they don't need to keep collecting. These Block 3 boosters are not meant to be reflown over and over. That's what Block 5 is for. And that's coming up next year. Q2, probably Q3. And so we just got to be patient, but so it's okay for them to throw them away. I would rather them give it to me or you. So yes, I'm very excited. This is going to be an excellent launch. This is a launch out of Vandenberg Air Force Base, which is in California. All polar orbits. Iridium launches are polar orbits. It means they go over the north and south pole of the Earth, and they end up being in a constellation so that at any point you're in in contact with potentially multiple Iridium satellites. They're used for ships and planes and stuff. Pretty cool stuff, guys. We'll get to your questions in 1 second. I want to mention one more thing before we start, that we have a lot of Falcon Heavy to talk about. A lot. Like, we've been getting Falcon Heavy stuff like crazy. I'm releasing a video tomorrow. It's been the video, I've never worked on a video this hard at all. And I please watch it. Show your friends. I promise it's going to be the best, most in-depth Falcon Heavy rundown that you'll ever see. It goes into the history, why it got delayed for 5 years. Has next level animations from our friend Ollie Braun, the guy that makes these incredible models here. It's really going to be a fantastic video. It'll release first thing tomorrow morning. Not first thing, but sometime in the morning. I say first thing, and you guys are gonna be like, why is he posting it at noon? I thought he said first thing. I don't sleep in as much these days, guys. I'll actually be up at a decent time, but it might take me a minute to get it online. So here we go. Of course, I've seen the pictures of Falcon Heavy. Let's start off there, and I'll start answering some questions. So ready, Falcon Heavy. It exists. There it is. This is so great. This is awesome stuff, guys. As you know, let's just take a second. We just need to admire it for a minute. Gorgeous. Next. Oh, even cooler. Yes. Look at that, 27 Merlin engines, people. 27. That's 3 less than the ludicrous N1 rocket that the Soviet Union launched. 4 times and never succeeded. But I'll point this out in the video that I'm making, or that I'm releasing tomorrow. Don't forget that 27 engines, although that's a crazy, absolute crap ton of engines, that's not that much more than the Soyuz rocket. And Soyuz has launched, like, it's the most flown rocket and most reliable rocket in history. That has 20 engines. So 27, what's another 33, 40%? I don't know. Do the math. I'm not a math guy up here. So yeah. This is correct. So those people asking about the models again, follow Ollie Braun. Ollie, O-L-I _ Braun, B-R-A-U-N. He can't actually sell these models as is. He can sell parts of them, and you can put them together yourself-ish. But go ahead and follow him on Twitter. Yeah, he'll let you know what he's capable of doing. He's not licensed to sell them. So yeah, these were donated because Ollie's a fantastic guy. No! I can't. I can't. Can you? I can't. This, come on. And again, as the video will explain, I called this. I've been saying this for almost 2 years now, that I hoped, yeah, this would be the payload for Falcon Heavy. And here we are, folks. I can't believe this. You can't believe it. Nobody can believe it, but this is happening. Boom. Look at that. We get a great shot of the payload fairings here. Looks like those pistons, I don't know. I'm not a fairing guy. Maybe someone in the Snapchat, somebody in chat will know here. What if those bottles are for RCS control, which would allow the fairings to maneuver and be able to reorient themselves, but I'm not sure. Yeah, this is not how most people, I'm not going to say everybody, this is not how most people imagine they'd mount the Tesla, but it is to, align center of gravity and make sure it's balanced and all that stuff. It is a tiny, this is, David Plant says, this is a tiny payload for such a big payload fairing, but payload fairings are universal sizes. They don't really make bigger or smaller ones, so... Owen Robot, that means a lot. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next one. Just, come on. A Tesla in space. This is so great. I hope he puts a license plate. Please, please, please put something awesome for a license plate on there. Don't miss that opportunity, Elon. And, oh, guys, guess what? I think the live stream is starting. Can you guys hear that? Or is it just like trying to freak me out? I'm going to just turn it down a little bit. Let me know if that works. I don't actually know what's happening in life. But I think that's what's happening. So, yeah, what are your guys' favorite license plate ideas? Falcon Heavy Demo Flight, FHDF. No sound yet. Yeah, there is, let's see, that's just me. Let's make sure I have the audio for the desktop audio. Give me 1 second here, guys. I might have to add a new track for whatever reason. You know how, those of you that have been with me before on live streams, you know that for whatever reason, OBS seems to just absolutely hate me and makes me like redo everything almost every single time. And this seems to be no different. So let's see here. Make sure there's some desktop audio, but I just want to make sure we're, doing that now. Audio input, sure. Let's make sure it's desktop. We might be getting some crazy stuff going here. I don't know what's happening. Try this. Let me know if you guys can hear the music. No, we can't. I just tripled up here. I wonder what happens. What happens if I do this? Now can you guys hear the music? It's one of those days, isn't it? We're going to keep going through Falcon Heavy. If you guys can't hear the music, you got to let me know. No, it's not my music. It's SpaceX's music, guys. If you don't like the music, sorry, it's not me. You're hearing an echo. No music. Okay, so we have to do some troubleshooting. Just like always, it wouldn't be an everyday astronaut stream without some problems. This is so ridiculous. All right, first I accidentally deleted myself from this. Oh, I'm the worst. Don't hire me to do any live streams, SpaceX. Oh man, what's going on? Well, that was an utter failure. Let's try this. OBS. Does anybody have anything better than OBS? Can we just agree that something needs to be better than OBS? Oh, come on. What is this? Cabbage City? What is this? Am I just looking at Cabbage City over here? Is this the place for the cabbage? Okay, come on. Oh, you're just trying to make me feel even dumber, aren't you? Right, well, I'll keep asking your guys' questions. Echo. We have an echo now? That's always fun. Let's get rid of one of these. Boom. There. Is that better? Do you guys still have an echo? We don't need this either. We're just gonna clean this all up. We're just gonna make this a clean guy here. This is gonna be the best version of my webcast you've ever experienced once we get rid of all the technical difficulties. I still don't have my face up there, but you don't need still echo. What do you mean still echo? No echo. Good. Remove the microphone. Okay, good. All right, we're doing great here, folks. We're doing just great. Okay, now we got to get my face back up here. If not, it's not a big deal. Oh, hi. Thank you for the super chats, Cammy and Alexander. Thank you guys. I think we'll try to celebrate once I see if I can do this. I recognize that guy. Hogging up the whole screen now. It wouldn't be an everyday astronaut live stream without just utter panic, right? All right, so we got that. You still don't have audio. That's one of those things that might be necessary. Maybe not. Let's try some other things. Let's mess around. Let's just keep having fun here, folks. Let's see. We got desktop audio should 100% be in there. Audio monitoring. Well, folks, this might be an interesting stream if you can't hear SpaceX. Well, I feel like I probably should troubleshoot this before the launch, because if we can't hear it, what's the point? What's the point? What's your point, Dad? We should not have a lagging SpaceX stream. We are like fresh slate here, which is probably why we're having issues. OBS. David, thank you. Oh, thank you. That really means a lot. I don't know why you're tipping a man who's just frantic on the internet, but YouTube's not muted because I am hearing it. Beep, 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 beep. But you guys aren't hearing it. And desktop audio. It has desktop audio. But some days you just don't feel like playing the desktop audio, right? Audio input capture, audio output capture, audio something. How about you just do stuff? We're going to try this. No, this will probably be where it does that. Do I use two monitors? Yes, I do, Jeffrey. Restart the app. I don't think that's true. I'm listening to a monitor channel. Here's the problem. I have like a lightning bolt, Thunderbolt interface, which is 2-channel, like tube amp, and then I have, yeah. Who knows? Tobias, I appreciate that. Well, yeah. I think I'm just going to have to be commenting on this more than normal, because at this point, I don't have any good options for you guys. But you need this to control your audio. Oh, so I've got people on my Discord channel giving me great advice. The only problem is this works. This works like every other time. It seems like every time I launch OBS, we get some beautiful new issue. And this is no different. So this might be a silent SpaceX launch. But I will go ahead and, yeah. Something's alive in the ocean. Hey, doggy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go back to answering questions about Falcon Heavy. What do you guys have questions about? I would love to answer some questions. Again, not an acceptable... that's not a bad idea. Let me try launching a Chrome window real quick. Maybe it's a Safari issue or something. Give me 1 second here. This might go crazy. I just want like a new session. How do you just open like a new session of Chrome? I don't want all my 68 trillion, million, billion windows to open up. That's what happens when I research stuff. It's like 36,000 windows, 48 million different tabs, spread throughout every inch of every monitor. And then I only end up using like one monitor for like just this one section of it. But the rest of it sure looks like I'm doing stuff. So this was our solution, was to use Safari. Here, I'm going to do this so that you guys, Pfft, I'm such a dumbo. All right, this is gonna be great. Remember, while I'm working on this, we are going, hey, guys, thank you. You don't have to be tipping me for just making a fool of myself, but I do appreciate that. Now, here's the deal. Tomorrow, again, I'm launching my Falcon Heavy video, and I do promise it'll be the most comprehensive video you can find. And if you can't, and if you find a more comprehensive version, then we'll see. Okay, here I'm launching. I have 2 up. And you guys still can't hear this one, can you? No, you cannot. Oh, hang on. Still nothing. Well, thank you, Alexander. My take on the chances of failure of Falcon Heavy. Well, we talk about in the upcoming video, and my take is that, honestly, I'm like 95% sure it'll clear the tower. I'm about 90% sure it'll clear Max Q. I'm 80% sure it will. Hey, look it, we're going here. I'm about 80% sure it'll make it through booster SEP, but then I'm about 70%, 60% chance of it actually getting to its intended orbit. So, yeah, let me try making sure. I have this thing called like sunflower or flower power or something sunflower flower power. I'll make sure it's like working or something, because I do want to make sure this works. Well, this sucks. You guys can't even hear that, huh? Does this work? Or is that just making some echo? Still no desktop audio? Well, look at that's gorgeous, though. Let's take a second. Look at the dirty inner stage. That is a dirty, filthy inner stage. See? It's got grid fins and no landing legs. That is crazy. I want to do this quick. I'm going to shrink myself down. Yeah. Falcon Heavy and stuff. Oh yeah, you guys can't hear that. He's saying everything's great. This is terrible. This is the worst live stream ever. But I'll keep troubleshooting here while this is up. All right. So yeah, the reason this is absolutely stunning. This is the clearest I've ever seen a Vandenberg launch. Vandenberg is normally looks like pretty much like this. So this is great. This is fantastic. And no landing legs. Here's my assumption. At this point, they're not going to remove hardware from the reflown booster, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, they took off the landing legs. So yeah, this is obviously pull up the audio on my cell phone. That's almost not a bad idea. Or I could do this.
taller than a 20-story building. It's in the darkness just after sunset.
Or will this just create a really bad echo?
To get out of the majority of the Earth's atmosphere. The first stage in the close-ups is the stage that has the SpaceX logo on it.
Of course, I've read Elon's book. Of course, 4 times.
The first having been on the Iridium 2 mission earlier this summer. Now, what you may have noticed in our camera views is the first stage does not have landing legs for this flight, although grid fins are installed. SpaceX does not plan to recover this first stage. A landing sequence out in the Pacific Ocean will be performed, but there is no drone ship in position for recovery. SpaceX will not be following the first stage during the webcast, although you may hear call-outs on the countdown net while we are following the second stage as it goes into orbit. Also of note, you may notice the inner stage looks slightly dark, sooty from the last flight, and it is. There was no need after it was recovered to totally clean and repaint that inner stage.
This is a recovered booster, yes.
Now on top of the first stage is the second stage. That will take the satellite from the stage separation altitude of just over 70 kilometers at the edge of space and accelerate
if I go louder,
to
increase
the orbital
feedback.
speed
Sorry.
of just over 7.5 kilometers per second, or about 17,500 miles per hour, 10 times faster than a bullet. Finally there in the view you can see with the Iridium NEXT logo at the very top, the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, inside of which are 10 Iridium satellites. And then finally, the large white structure next to the rocket is our transporter erector. As a reminder, unlike the East Coast, here on the West Coast, the transporter erector will move away starting at about T-minus 5 minutes to a position 77.5 degrees away from the rocket just before T0.
Maybe I don't have an idea. I had an idea about, plugging my phone in that doesn't have a headphone jack. Thanks, Apple. So no, they've landed this exact booster actually flew this exact mission basically once already. It has plenty of margin to land. Well, not plenty, but a decent enough margin to land carrying these Iridium satellites. There's 10 of them up in that fairing.
10 minutes. We're counting down. Launch again planned at 27 minutes, 34 seconds after the hour. Currently on the Falcon 9, the good news is the SpaceX team is working no significant issues. We began loading fuel into the first stage on time at T-minus 70 minutes. Fuel is now essentially loaded on the first stage. We'll top it off with just a little bit from about T-minus 7 minutes to T-minus 6 minutes, and that'll finish the first stage fuel. We are loading liquid oxygen onto both stages. Stage 1 is about 80% complete. Stage 2 is a little more than half full. That liquid oxygen loading will continue up until the last minutes of the countdown. First stage completing at about T-minus 3 minutes. Second stage LOX loading will complete about T-minus 2 minutes. You should hear those countdowns over the countdown net as we listen to the last minutes. Now right now the next major activity planned is in 2 minutes at T-minus 7.
Philip, you might be onto something.
The opening of the pre-valves between the first stage propellant tanks and the 9 Merlin 1B engines at the bottom of the first stage. That will allow liquid oxygen to lead through the turbo pumps, begin shelling them down to prepare them for the ignition that comes just a couple seconds before T0. On top of the Falcon 9, shown within again,
I'm half looking.
Payload fairing
1 second.
with the Iridium NEXT logo on it are the 10 Iridium satellites. The Iridium team working no issues. They have gone to internal power and they are ready for launch. Today, for the range, we're operating out of Vandenberg, the head of the Western Range. Everything looks good from the Air Force. Support is in place, ready for an on-time launch. And then finally, the weather. The good news is we don't have to do anything about the weather. The Air Force weather officer has given us a 0% probability of violating conditions. Upper altitude jet stream looks like it's in control.
0%? I've never heard that. I've never heard that.
Hardly blowing any of the mist away from the rocket. The cold moisture condensing from the chill of liquid oxygen in the stages. So at 7 minutes 54 seconds, everything is looking good.
Okay, so I'm going to make an executive decision. We are actually going to mute the speakers, and I'm unfortunately going to have to just kind of reiterate what they're saying, which might be awkward. If you have speakers or if you have another way to listen to the audio and something else, like another tab, please do that. I apologize, guys. Every time, I swear someday this will be like a silky smooth process. In the meantime, it's just this old guy trying to troubleshoot things. So, yeah, we're just going to do this. Honestly, so far, I'm still listening. We're not missing anything. We're hearing a few things. I'd rather answer your questions, and we can always go back and listen live. We all know what this stuff sounds like by now, and I'd rather answer your questions. So yeah, they're just reiterating things we've already talked about. This is 10 Iridium satellites. No big deal. Yeah, each satellite has solar arrays. How are they going to stop the eddy currents caused by that many engines being set off at once? Well, James, we talk about this actually. We talk about this in my upcoming video that they actually stagger the ignition of all those engines, so there isn't just a huge, massive shockwave that the torque would tear the octawebs apart. So hopefully we'll see that in high-speed film. It'll be very, very close to instantaneous. But yeah. I wonder why people are saying delay. Yes, they really are putting a roadster on Mars. In Portland, Oregon. Let's see. What's so special or great about Falcon Heavy? It's the most powerful vehicle to fly since the space shuttle. It's 3/4 of it is reusable, more than 3/4. Of it is fully reusable. Here's a cool thing from Iridium. They always kind of play the same thing for the most part. It's crazy awesome. It's actually technically it's more powerful than the space shuttle. It's only been the only more powerful rockets since or before it are the Saturn V and the Energia rocket from Soviet Union and the N1. So it's really the 4th most powerful rocket ever, which is amazing. Yeah, technically, guys, there's 2 other rockets that have attempted to fly or flown. Energia flew twice, I think. N1 flew and didn't make it into orbit 4 times. So yeah, Falcon Heavy is going to be freaking awesome. What are the chances of the Falcon Heavy landing? I have a feeling if they can do the booster separation, if they get to that point, they have no problem landing. It'll just be, well, actually, they're going to be experiencing a few new problems this time, which is interesting because, for instance, the side boosters have an aerodynamic nose cone. So see the nose cones there on the Falcon Heavy. When they fall back down, that's now the tail cone. And due to its more aerodynamic than being a taller and stiff, blunt end of an interstage, the grid fins actually have less control authority. So we're going to see if those titanium grid fins do the work. But as long as they get to stage separation, I think they're going to have no problem actually landing the first 2 stages or the side boosters of Falcon Heavy. And again, same type of thing. I mean, they have a lot of experience landing the boosters now. So yeah, hopefully we'll see it. This is Logan asks, what's this launch about? This is basically Iridium is setting up a new constellation of satellites. I think it's 120. Can someone correct me? Like 120-ish satellites. There's what the constellation is going to look like there. So you can be used by ships and airplanes and stuff. Yeah, this is a new generation of Iridium satellites. It's awesome. When's the launch? It's in 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Why are they trying to land this booster? Why? They aren't going to land this booster in the ocean, most likely. It does not have landing legs. But we'll see, guys. This is going to be a dicey one because I've heard rumors that they're going to try to land it on launch clamps or on clamps, sort of like BFR, but I highly, highly doubt that. Although there does appear to be a new ship out there. I don't know if I see that one happening, guys. I really don't know if I see that. I do see them recovering the fairings today. I do see them attempting to do that. I'm going to be listening to see if they actually talk about that. But yeah, so we'll give it a try. Hopefully we'll see. Golden Noodles, I would love to fix the stupid audio, but for whatever reason, my life is a nightmare right now. There is no drone ship, but there is 2 other ships out there. There's Mr. Stevens, which is hopefully the fairing recovery boat, and there's a mysterious boat that's oddly in that same area. It might be a support ship, but we will see, guys. We will have to see what's going on. They will soft land it in the ocean, possibly to prevent pollution of the Channel Islands. Well, all other rocket launches crash in there anyway, so I don't think it's some kind of effort to prevent pollution. I get this question still all the time. I want to make sure I answer it. Remember, guys, I have beginner's guides part 1 and 2 of SpaceX launches. Make sure and check that out if you want to know all these things about streams. We talk about why there's gas venting. That is actually oxygen. As oxygen turns from a liquid, which is colder, to a gas, it expands almost 1,000 times. So as it warms up from ambient temperature outside, it's probably a beautiful like 70 degrees there in California. That heats up the liquid oxygen inside the tanks, and as it turns into gas, it expands and gets pushed out, and that's what you're seeing venting out. It's not a big deal. Yeah, they probably will just do a soft touchdown. Yeah. The taxpayer money, George, on this is zero. This is a private company. They're launching satellites for another private company. Granted, NASA has invested $1.3 billion or $1.6 billion into into SpaceX and the Falcon 9 program, but that's helps cover the 13 launches they've done so far. This particular launch, zero taxpayer dollars. This has nothing to do with the taxpayer. This is a private company making money, profiting off of launching another private company's satellite constellation. So zero. So those of you, I don't care what your stance is. I don't care if you're liberal or conservative. This is good. Period. They're doing things much cheaper than any other company. They're really forcing the rest of the aerospace industry to be more aggressive and to look into recovery, because this is the 5th time they're reusing a booster. That's huge. They went from none last year to 5, and that's almost a quarter of their entire launch ended up being reused, which is incredible. And thank you, Gamer Xbot. Thank you so much. Yeah, that honestly, that means a lot. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. Neuropilot in the Discord channel does say DoD government are major Iridium customers. So yeah, that's a good point, that the Iridium does, they're half paid by the Department of Defense, probably for their communication buses. All right, here we go. I don't have audio, I'm sorry. If you can't open it in another tab, do it. I'll do this, though. I'll go back to this for a second, because we do have to have this.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
T-tab.
1. Liftoff. Falcon 9.
All right. It's interesting audio. That's gnarly sounding. So this is 10 of 66 Iridium NEXT satellites. Thank you, John Eric, in Discord, for letting us know the exact number.
Plus a minute 10 into flight.
Hope that's just going out of focus.
And throttle back up of the Falcon 9 first stage engines. We've gone through max Q on the first stage.
That's ominous looking.
Look good on the engines.
There we go.
Downrange, away from Vandenberg Air Force Base.
There we go. Okay, stage separation is happening in about a minute. It will happen around 2 minutes and 40 seconds. This first stage has no landing legs, but they will probably do a soft touchdown in the ocean. But they might recover the fairings.
We're chilling in the MVAC engine, 2 minutes into flight, getting it ready for ignition. Next major event coming up in 30 seconds is shutdown of the
Poor Vandenberg, guys.
Followed by stage separation and ignition of the second stage engine.
They just don't get the practice.
We hope to get a view of payload fairing separation from the second stage. We'll talk about this stuff after the launch, guys. You guys have great questions. Remind me how they recover fairings
And why no landing legs? We'll talk about it more. Here we go. Stage and main engine cutoff. Stage separation. Whoa, that's a cool shot. Boost back burn. Interesting. They're doing a boost back burn, not even a...
We've had successful separation and ignition of the upper stage engine. First words from propulsion, things look good on the upper stage.
What are you guys doing today, SpaceX?
Next up, we should see fairing separation.
Come on, fairings. Okay, good. Fairing separated. They're still doing the boost back burn.
From the team gathered around Mission Control Center here in Hawthorne. It's 5:30 in the evening. Second shift is in. They're watching the flight. Fairing separation looked very good.
Or that might be second stage.
Iridium NEXT satellites to the vacuum of outer space. We're 3.5 minutes plus into flight. Second stage performance continues to look excellent.
Okay, so left camera is the second stage. You can see the two fairings, and then you can see a little bit of the first stage up at the top. Still gets me every time.
T plus 4 minutes into flight. Falcon 9 second stage continues to perform nominally. Power on the engine looks good. Avionics looks good. Guidance looks, we're on track. Headed south, away from California. Eventually overflying the South Polar Cap on our way off of Eastern Africa, where we'll eventually deploy, later in the webcast, the 10 Iridium NEXT satellites.
Well, technically, this is a view of the Earth. Markson. But don't forget, it's nighttime. Luckily, when this goes around to the other side of the Earth, it'll be daytime. So we'll actually hopefully see some good daytime footage. You can watch any of their other previous 46 launches, and you can always see this great view from the second stage. When it's daytime, you can see the Earth below. It's a great view. So it still has...
5 minutes into flight, you can see the camera views looking back on the nozzle of the MVAC-D Merlin vacuum engine. Red hot, which is just what we expect at this stage of flight. The engine is at full power, continuing to perform normally, as I like to say. And meanwhile, the second stage is on trajectory, headed for its initial low Earth parking orbit. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but for now, everything continues to look good.
So... the stage needs to get up to about 27,000 kilometers an hour-ish, I think. And so we still have to see the second stage. That's how much energy has to be put in beyond the first stage. The first stage only injects something like 4,000 to 6,000 kilometers per hour. And the second stage does the rest of that work. So that's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, these cameras, guys, don't forget, these are... There's low bandwidth at this point. They're only using ground tracking stations, so they aren't going to be pulling any 4K footage from here yet, but someday.
Falcon 9, second stage, carrying 10 Iridium NEXT satellites, is currently west and south of the tip of Baja California. I hope that everybody in Southern California had a great view of the launch this evening. We've had clear skies. The rocket launching about half an hour after sunset. Now currently we're in burn 1. This takes us into the low Earth parking orbit. That's a temporary orbit that we'll be in for about half an orbit around the Earth before we relight the upper stage engine, and that will move us with its second burn into the final orbit. We'll be bringing you that second burn later on in the webcast.
Good question, the carry-on travelers. Yes. Essentially, they actually end up going a little bit... they take into account the rotation of the Earth. So they actually fly a little bit crooked, 86 degrees, I believe, instead of 90, which... takes into account the extra rotation the Earth is giving, something like 800 miles per hour or something, 1,200 or so kilometers per second. But it's not in the direction of travel, so they still have to take that in to account, I think, by flying a little bit west. So entry shut down. We think they're just going to basically be doing a soft landing in the ocean of the first stage, but they're still doing everything like normal with it, even though it won't be actually recovered.
27.5 minutes into flight, Falcon 9 second stage continues to perform well. We are continuing on the desired trajectory, headed south from Vandenberg Air Force Base, California, heading into an approximate polar orbit with the Iridium NEXT satellites.
Okay.
Now, as I mentioned, we're going to have two burns. We're in the first burn right now. This is the long burn, just over 6 minutes. We're beginning to throttle down power on the upper stage engine, preparing for shutdown about a minute from now. Meanwhile,
Stage one's
we'll then go
transonic.
into a coast period of 42 minutes between the end of the burn that we're on now and then the relight that'll come over the eastern hemisphere. So during that coast phase, we're going to pause live commentary. We'll have a map so that you can see our path as we go over the southern polar regions en route to going east of Africa. We've heard the call out. Stage 2 flight termination system has safed in preparation for going into orbit. Once we go into orbit, we'll wait to hear a call from the guidance nav and control engineer called GNC on the quality of that orbit.
There we go. Once we lose ground tracking of this, they will have to go to the animation, but as they recover ground tracking between the upper stage and the ground, we'll eventually see shots again of the second stage in orbit. So
we've had good shutdown of the second stage engine. Now we're waiting to hear and take a look at the orbit. And we've heard the call out.
Good.
Good nominal orbit insertion. So currently the first stage mission has completed. We separated the second stage. It took over. Did a burn lasting just over 6 minutes. We've had shutdown on that first burn of the second stage engine. We're in a good orbit. We're going to go into a coast phase now, followed by a relight of the upper stage engine. So we're going to stop live commentary right now. I'll get ready for coming back on at T plus 51 minutes, about 41 minutes from now. So with that, we'll leave you with a map of the progress of Falcon 9, still with the 10 Iridium NEXT satellites, made it to the payload dispenser, and we'll be back to watch the second burn and then the eventual release of the 10 satellites.
okay, we'll leave this up here. Sorry again, everyone, about the audio. That's not ideal. I promise I will do my best to correct it as the next time. So hopefully, eventually, I'll have all these things figured out in my life. But let's talk about a few things. We have a lot of questions. We have a lot of time. We have like 20 minutes that I can answer questions. But first, I do want to remind you, get ready, please. If you're not subscribed, tomorrow I am dropping the fattest, most detailed video about Falcon Heavy you will ever see. It goes through why the Falcon Heavy's been delayed for 5 years, why it took 5 years to develop, what exactly technologies are in it, including like the longerons, why they're using titanium grid fins, a lot of cool things. I promise it's the best video to date. I worked with Ollie Braun. You can find him on Twitter, Ollie at OLI_BRAUN. Ollie Braun. He made these models. He made 3D animations for me. It's an awesome video. I'm really excited about it. So please get ready to watch that tomorrow. Yeah, I promise it's worth it. So get ready. That's my holiday gift to everybody. It's been too long since I posted a video, and I put a lot of work into this one. So I hope you guys enjoy it. All right. So let's see. What can I answer for you guys? Longerons, is that underwear for rockets? Absolutely. Slim fit, just for your skinny Falcon 9. All right. Let's see. Are they using 3 flight-proven boosters for Falcon Heavy? No. They are using the 2 side-core boosters are previously flown, one for CRS-9 and one for, was it KoreaSat? I already don't even remember. KoreaSat 5, I think. And the fun thing is the center core is very different than a normal standard Falcon 9. It has a lot more stresses to endure, including, the torque from the side boosters, the extra stress through the center of the core, because it can carry up to 3 times more weight. So, yes, John! Holy crap. Dude, thank you. Honestly, thank you. That's crazy. I don't even think I've spent that much on any of my friends or family. Thank you. That's insane. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. John, thank you. Everyone say thank you to John on my behalf too. That's incredible. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. Holy crap. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. You guys are very generous. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, John. That's amazing. So, yeah, we love you, John. Thank you. Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that, and I appreciate that. I really do, especially right now as the year has been a transition for me, and I'm not making nearly the same income that I was making as a photographer. So thank you so much. And thank you again. I feel like I need to just take a second and thank my Patreon supporters. There's a lot of you guys out there, and I would not be able to do this and do my videos without you guys. Seriously, like literally, I'm not saying that these things take a lot of time. And, I've made sacrifices to put aside photography. I used to shoot 20 to 25 weddings a year. I shot 2 this year. Next year, none. That was my primary source of income. So to have you guys supporting me, it means the world. I don't want to get emotional here before the holidays, but there's just always a lot of stress leading up to the holidays. And I've been working really hard on these videos, and having the support of you guys and having the support of the people in the Discord channel, it's just honestly absolutely incredible. So thank you. Thank you. That really, really, really means a lot. Okay. All right. So let's stage 1 did not land on this mission, guys. Well, let's answer a few questions. It did not have landing legs. It was a reflown booster, previously flown actually on the last Iridium mission that SpaceX flew, which was Iridium NEXT-3, I assume it was, but I feel like it was Iridium NEXT-2. It flew on Iridium NEXT-2. Iridium NEXT-3 was the first one with titanium grid fins, and the only launch with titanium grid fins. So this was a previously flown booster from like June or so, and they took off the landing legs. They did not take off the grid fins or the nitrogen thrusters, probably just so they could still make sure, for them it's data. Data's valuable, so they were able to still do the entire reentry process, make sure everything felt good with the first stage. But they have so many of these Block 3 boosters that these are not meant to fly more than once or more than twice, not reflown more than once-ish. It's probably not worth the cost of refurbishment at this point in the Block 3. They're working, there's a kind of soft iteration of Block 4, but Block 5 will be coming out this probably Q2, Q3 of 2018. And Block 5 is what's going to be flying astronauts with Dragon 2 eventually. It's the final iteration of the Falcon 9, and it's meant for much more recoverable or reusability. So refurbishment costs will be much less on Block 5. They're applying all the lessons they learned from Block 3 on what's constantly being beaten up in these reentries, what's constantly being beaten up on these landings. So it has better heat shield skirts around all 9 engines. Those get beat up every time. It has, I think, different paint even, like a lot of things. I don't know about paint, but for sure certain areas are going to look different. And they're just applying all these lessons they've learned from landing, 20 boosters now. They've landed 20 boosters. So they have all that data from those 20 boosters to refine and work on this Block 5 iteration. So Block 5 is very exciting. So let's see here. What else are we talking about? Elon's always in the control room. He's not always in the control room. No, he is lead engineer-ish, Rocket Lads, but he is not always in the control room. Gwyneth Shotwell typically is in the control room, though. It's actually rare to see Elon in the control room, I feel like. Let's see. Somebody asked... Oh, man, it's going by too quick. Sorry, guys. Somebody asked why not land it anyway. At this point, it still costs a lot of money to send that ship out there. On the West Coast, it's just read the instructions. It still costs a lot of money. There's crew out there that have to be out there for like 2 days. A lot of crew, like 3 or 4 people probably. I'm not positive about that. Don't quote me on that. But you have to pay for that. You have to pay for gas. You have to pay for the boat refurbishment. It still costs... Imagine if you could save $1 million on something that would literally be not reused again. This booster, if they were to have recovered it, probably would have just ended up back getting stored in some hangar somewhere. So, it would cost $100 basically, or $1 million. I'm making some number up, but an amount of money they could have saved by not recovering it, and that's probably what led them to not recover this stage. There we go. I am surprised they didn't just take the grid fins off, though, and save those. But they're going to all titanium eventually, so, yeah. Do I think they'll have captured a fairing with Mr. Steven? I hope so, Ethan. That's a great question. They are working on that, so that is obviously something that they see of high value. Those fairings are estimated to be about $6 million, so it's pretty high priority to work on recovering the fairings. We'll talk about how they do that. They actually do have a small Silinx. Thank you, so much, and Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you. You guys, this is I can't even talk anymore. This is crazy. You guys are amazing. Yeah, very encouraging. Thank you guys. Everyone, thanks Silinx. That's amazing. I don't know how to say if I'm saying that right. PSY links. Thank you. So the fairings, though, they have RCS and reaction control systems in them to orient them so that they can land. They come through the atmosphere, kind of like imagine like a boat in water almost, so the flat side or the rounded side coming in. And since they're so lightweight, they have a very high glide ratio, right? So they can survive re-entry because they're very, very lightweight, very big surface area. There's not a lot of mass behind it, accelerating it through that re-entry process. And then once they get down into lower atmosphere, they actually use parafoil or paragliding parachutes to surf around, basically. And apparently they can steer those very precisely. And they supposedly have been able to hit their targets when they're doing soft landings. So it sounds like this Mr. Stevens boat with these giant arms on it is capable of catching these fairings. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. I'm so excited. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we guys have? Are they using grid fins and nitrogens due to the fact that... Brendan! Thank you! Thank you. Happy holidays to you too, Brendan. You guys, you really don't have to. But again, it really does mean a lot. I would rather... if you guys would rather support me on Patreon, that's an easier thing sometimes, I think. And I really appreciate my Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. I have the best patrons. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank Brendan. It sounds like we're getting the same question. I will answer it every time I can. These are Ollie Braun's SpaceX. They're Falcon 9 rockets from Ollie Braun. Ollie_Braun. B-R-A-U-N. Ollie is O-L-I_Braun. B-R-A-U-N. On Twitter. You can find his work there. He is the one that's helped me. Thank you, Footy23. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. Seriously. Yeah. I'm speechless at this point. And BMW, thank you so much. BMW 1000C. You guys are amazing. Yeah, thank you. Everyone thank BMW and Footy. Thank you, guys. You don't have to do this. Yes, I have bought some Bitcoin. And Joe, thank you. Thank you, Joe. I really, again, you guys, thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Ollie's info in the description. I think it is, actually. Maybe it's not. I will do that right now because he needs to be on there. SpaceX models by Ollie Braun. He is going in the description here, folks. As long as I don't misspell his name like I did in the video when I was making and had to redo it. Twitter.com/Ollie_Braun. There, he is now in the description. You can find it there. Yeah. And Jeff, thank you. And Merry Christmas, Christopher. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jeff R. Oh, and Heike. Gosh, guys, I don't think I'll be able to cover anything with you guys talking. Ask some questions so I can answer them. Animate Sky. Oh, I'll bet. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Animate Sky. I'm burning up over here, guys. Thank you. I bet Los Angeles had the crazy view of that plume. I can't wait to see all the pictures and all the UFO people going nuts, like, aliens are here, and people thinking North Korea is trying to bomb us, which probably isn't something to joke about this day and age, but yeah, thank you guys again. All right, why alloy grid fins on the central core of Falcon Heavy? Don, great question. Jesus Christ. Stop. I can't even handle this. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Broken Life Cycle. Thank you, Cammy. Thank you, Gayton. Thank you, guys. Okay. Thank you, guys, very, 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 very much for your generosity. Thank you very, very, very much. You're too much. Yeah. Have a drink on me from Kenneth. I will. Thank you. Maybe I'll pop out. I've been saving some Macallan 10-year fine oak brandy, whiskey, brandy. Yes. For a while, for a special occasion. Maybe tonight's that night. Patrick. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you so much. I'm not gonna cry. I promise. What do I know about the extra, Marcus? I appreciate it. Thank you. That means even more that you're broke, kind of like that person that had like no money in a book or something. I don't know. Thank you. Guys, hang on. Somebody asked what caused the glowing clouds. That's a good question. I think the glowing cloud, guys, was a night launch, and they were using a different, like an infrared camera. So I think it got out of focus, is my guess, like near focused, and it made it look bigger, and that's what the glowing cloud was. So the first stage is now resting in and/or around and/or on top of the ocean. Yeah, so that would be amazing. I really wish I could have seen that. From Sweden, thank you so much. Hey guys, remember, thank you so much. I do want to hear opinions on these videos, guys. I do this stuff for you guys. Thank you. Happy holidays. How long do you think the radio will play on the Tesla Roadster headed to Mars? That's a great question. I really want to know what battery, if they kept, I'm sure it's not the stock battery, but hopefully they put a good enough battery on there to be able to do some awesome camera angles and audio with this. And Daniel, thank you. And the Andrew, thank you. Merry Christmas. Oh my gosh, Merry Christmas and thanks. Thank you, Rune. I don't even know what to do, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh gosh. Guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate everything, guys. I appreciate you guys coming here. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. Thank you, Glenn. Oh my gosh. Can we stop so I can talk for a second, please? Oh my gosh. I don't think the road. I'm gonna keep answering questions. I don't think the Roadster has solar panels on it. I hope it's got a good enough battery to last a while because it's gonna be out there for 1 billion years. Oh man. Oh, thank you very much, Joaquin, if that's how you say your name. Thank you, Liam. I really appreciate that. So I do want to ask you guys. I can't even talk right now. I do want to ask you guys, I did a poll on YouTube, make sure and fill it out. This video is going to be long. The Falcon Heavy video is like 18 minutes long. Hey, here's a secret for all of you guys. 1,500 of you watching, make sure and watch to the end of this video. Literally, I promise the last minute and a half, I put some outtakes in. I promise it'll be worth it. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Jeez, a new follower and you don't. Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. Make sure, Ryan, check out my videos. I those are what I put the most work. This streaming stuff, this is a recent thing just to help answer questions. But the videos is what I work hard on, and I do that for you guys. Gosh, Abrar, thank you. Luigi, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you very, very much. I can't even handle this. Yeah, so I do have people. So here's the thing. Mathematically speaking, half the people wanted the videos 15 to 10 minutes, around 10 to 15 minutes. And the other half said the longer the better, almost. So yeah, I want to make sure I'm not glossing over details, but the problem too is I always try to apply context to everything I'm talking about because I don't want some person that doesn't know everything, that isn't an expert in this stuff. I want it so if my parents were to watch a video, they always have the context applied to what we're talking about. So we have to start. That's one of the reasons my videos end up getting so long is because I want to make sure anyone can watch it and anybody can know what they're looking at, know what I'm saying, and make sure I like explain everything from the start. Thank you, Robbie Edwards. Thank you, Benjamin Wood. Thank you so much. Just joined Patreon. Thank you, Cami. You've been around for a while. Cami is a sponsor here. Hence the cheering emotes. Thank you very much. Oh, Tim, Hester, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you so much. You were planning to go to bed, but you saw your stream. You don't care if it's 4 a.m. in Finland, but you love us. Thank you. If you want to win, employ a Finn. Thank you so much to Finland and all of Scandinavia now. Thank you. Tom, thank you so much. Mike, thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. I really appreciate that. Everyone keep saying thank you to these people, guys. Drew Johnson, hello, sir. My good friend Drew Johnson. Drew Johnson's an old friend of mine. We've played music together. He's a car nut like me. He also is one of the reasons he really encouraged me to start YouTubing, because he was watching YouTube creators produce awesome content. He's like, dude, just start doing it. I was like, I will. So, Drew Johnson, thank you. And Blue Pen, thank you. Does NASA have... This is good. Guys, if you're going to donate, please ask me a question so I can make it worth everyone's time. Does NASA have any plans to launch anything on Falcon Heavy? Basically, the way NASA works and the way NASA... they most likely will just look at all their options when they're launching a payload. If they need Falcon Heavy for a particular mission, especially something outside of Earth's orbit, say they're doing an interplanetary mission, Falcon Heavy obviously opens up some new doors because it's an inexpensive way. But when you're talking about a $2 billion flagship probe launching on a $100 million rocket between a $200-300 million, that's nothing compared to the cost of the satellite. So potentially, yes, they will use Falcon Heavy eventually. Oh, Andrew, here's a quarter for every SpaceX flight to date. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. Merry Christmas and keep following my dreams. Thank you, Cajun. This is insane. Gamer Xbot, dude. Thank you. And thanks, Gamer Xbot, for being a patron recently. You just became a patron recently. You need to go. Gamer, thank you. Sincerely, Gamer's been around for a long time. Tim, buying a ticket for the video tomorrow. No, it's going to be great. Thank you so much. Who was that? Oh my gosh. Guys, I can't even. Anoop, thank you. And Tim, thank you. And Chris, love my videos. Keep on. Thank you. I will because of you guys. Thank you so much. Percy, do I think Elon has a storage problem for these old boosters? I do think there's a storage issue. Literally, it's not worth recovering these older Block 3s at this point due to recovery costs and lack of storage. Thank you, Percy Bell. Thank you. And Coasty, jeez, from my XX. Bryce, everyone, one of my really good friends out at SpaceX. Bryce. I love you, Bryce. Bryce is amazing, a really good friend of mine. I already owe you some beers. Bryce is the one that shipped me this Falcon Heavy. So I already owe you some beers, sir. And I hopefully will be out there very soon working on a secret project that I can't quite talk about, but the papers are signed. Those of you in Discord probably know what I'm talking about. The papers are signed. This is happening, but I can't quite tell you quite yet. The internet, very soon. Vince, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you as well. And Roger Harrington, thank you so crazy much. You guys, literally, you don't have to be doing this right now, but I sincerely appreciate it. It's not taken lightly, so your generosity is insane. Do I have any personal things you would be great to launch into space? Ooh. Anything if I could, I would launch, I've got everyday astronaut patches. I think that'd be cool to have one flown. I think that'd be awesome. My hat and anything like that would be awesome. Let's see. Other than that, I'm gotta think of something more fun than a self-promotional thing. Come on, Tim. Think. How about? Oh man, I'll think of something better than that. How about? Ooh, actually. How about? I've got some scrap. Oh, this is a good pitch. Here, hold on 1 second here. I still have these. When we get to 200 patrons, I have landmarks. Every 100, 200, 300, and 400 patrons. These are pieces of flown Space Shuttle Discovery. Flown. And this has been to space. It's titanium from Space Shuttle Discovery. Signed. I signed the back of them. I do a giveaway at 200 patrons and at 300 and 400. So if you want a chance to win Space Shuttle Discovery, do that. I have more of this personally. It's also in my wedding ring. I would love to have that go back up to space. I just think that'd be really cool. Felda, thank you. When do I think trips to space might become trivial. Maybe one day this $5 can get me to the moon. I will be a moon tourist, and thank you again for your generosity. And yeah, I think space travel will be trivial once reusability is totally a thing. Full reusability. 100%, like BFR style, recovering the second stage, recovering the first stage. Not a big deal to refurbish them, almost no refurbishment, just some checks like an airplane. And then I think we'll be getting to space for thousands of dollars. And hopefully, yes, thank you. And Johnny, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and Merry Christmas to you as well. And Daniel, thanks for the quality videos, making space accessible for more people. Up early but had to stay up late. How successful, and thank you, and now I'll answer this question. Thank you. How successful do I think Falcon Heavy Devon will be? I'll give you my percentages. I've made up some percentages now. And you guys will have a chance to put your opinions in the polls as well. That I have in my new video coming out tomorrow, my Falcon Heavy video. So my percentage, I didn't say this in the video, but my percentage is I think it'll be 95% chance of it making, 95% chance of it clearing the tower. I think it will 90% chance of surviving max Q. I think there's about an 80% chance of successful booster separation. And I think there's like a 65% chance of a full successful mission, as in we'll see a Tesla heading to Mars orbit. Yeah, and speaking of, I might as well pull this up again. The poll will be in my video that I'm doing tomorrow. You'll see it at the end of the video. And again, guys, remember, tomorrow's video, watch till the end. I promise the end is my favorite part. So, Chris, thank you. Is Falcon Heavy required to send Dragon 2 spacecraft beyond low Earth orbit, or could a Block 5 do it as well? Great question, Chris. It most likely would take a Falcon Heavy to get it beyond low Earth orbit. I think there's still a little bit of wiggle room, even with the Dragon 2 going to low Earth orbit. That's not quite stressing low Earth orbit. So it could go into a higher low Earth orbit with a standard Falcon 9, but it could not go beyond that. I don't think it could do geostationary transfer orbit, because those D2s, the Falcon Heavy can do Falcon 9 can do 8,000 kilograms in expendable mode with a Falcon 9. And I think a Dragon 2 will probably be between like 4 and 6. So it can probably go beyond that, but it wouldn't be able to. It might be able to get it to geostationary transfer orbit, but I don't know if it could return from there. That's a great question. Hopefully we know the answer someday. But again, thank you so much for your donation. That really means a lot. Can I catch my breath for just a second, guys? Yeah, the Falcon Heavy will be sending Allison, one of our mods mentions, that Dragon 2 will be heading into a trans-lunar orbit. So they'll be doing like a figure 8, kind of like the Apollo 8 mission. Around the moon and coming back with tourists on board. They will not be going into lunar orbit. Ooh, we have some stuff happening again. This guy. There we go. All right. Yeah, I'm working on the breather here. I'm like gonna hyperventilate. Again, sincere thank you to all of you. Again, and it's not necessary, but thank you. I really appreciate that. Dragon version 2 might not have retrofire from GTO on its own. That's true, but if it was like an elliptical orbit, it could probably lower its lowest point, its perigee, or periapsis, to intercept the atmosphere from a if it was an elliptical orbit. That'd be a cool orbit. If I were to go into Earth orbit, I think I would love to be in like an elliptical one. So you get to come back and see the Earth get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you see it get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then bigger and bigger and bigger. I just think it'd be a really cool experience. Low Earth orbit, that sounds cool and stuff, but get me a little further away. Will there be a Scotty on the flight? That's a great question. I sure hope so. Everybody needs a Scotty. SpaceX's success rate is about 97% at this point. 45 out of 47, I believe, which is around 97%. So, yeah. How will it go to Mars if we're not in a Mars launch window? It's not necessarily going to Mars, and there's still some confusion here. They will be putting it into an elliptical orbit, so the lowest point of the orbit, it'll be in a solar orbit. I believe I'm correct. It'll actually be orbiting the sun, lowest point at Earth, highest point at Mars. And it's not really meant to intersect either of those things ever again, most likely. I don't even know if it's doing a Mars flyby, so we will see. There we go, 95.6. Thank you guys for doing some math. There we go. Yeah. It's an a heliocentric solar orbit. There we go. So we will see. Eventually, it will do a Mars flyby. I actually hope that they at least get it the eccentricity to do a flyby, a fairly close flyby of Mars, right away on the first pass. Because otherwise, I know it's cool that it's in like Mars orbit, but what would be the point if we don't get to see an awesome shot of it literally doing a Mars flyby? Even if it's still a million miles away, that would be amazing. That'd be so cool. Estimated launch date. Static fire Falcon Heavy is slated to be one of the first things of 2018, which is awesome. A great way to start the new year. Light some candles, 27 of them, please. That'll be great. That'll be the first time that SpaceX has fired all 27 Merlin engines at once. They've fired all 3 cores, the center core and the 2 side boosters, individually at their static test fire site in McGregor in Texas. But they've never been able to have them all strapped together, which they are now officially. They've never had them able to come together. Here, let's look at those pictures again. Let me pull this up bigger for you guys. Yeah, they have them together, and the only place capable currently on Earth capable of having all 27 of those Merlin engines ignite is on launch pad 39A. And so the hold down clamps will hold on to them. I believe there's 8 hold down clamps. They'll be holding tight onto the rocket so it doesn't go anywhere. They'll light it up. They'll fire it for probably 4 seconds, 3 to 4, maybe 7 is a full duration on pad 40 with its new upgraded cooling trenches and stuff. But I believe 39A can only do about a 4-second static fire. So, whoo! Let's see. So what's going to play? Okay, so Yoshinator, why don't I go ahead and explain from the beginning what's happening, just in case you're tuning in right now. So SpaceX just launched a rocket carrying 10 Iridium next generation satellites. This was the 4th mission for Iridium. They are now in a coast phase, so they are 40 minutes into flight. The initial boost phase to get it into an initial orbit lasted about 8.5 minutes of boosting between the first and second stages. And now they are getting into this coast phase where they have to do one more burn on the other side of the Earth to put it into its perfect final orbit. Once they do that, they will be releasing all 10 satellites one at a time. This is not some like NASA mission. This is a private Iridium customer who is a paying customer that is developing a communications network, their next generation of communications network. So yeah, it's cool. This is the 4th launch. This is the 3rd one SpaceX has done for them this year. They're rolling out 66 of these new satellites. And yeah, that's what's going on. We're kind of in this coasting period, which is why we're here to ask and answer questions. So thank you for joining. If you don't know what's going on, and SpaceX, just so you know, they launch almost every 1 week or 2. And they use so far they're only launching their Falcon 9 rocket, which is this one. But soon we're all waiting for this one. This one's been in the works for more than 5 years, the Falcon Heavy. It's going to be awesome. So if you're just new getting involved in why SpaceX is awesome or why space flight is awesome, guys, I'm a huge spaceflight nerd. Give me all of the rockets. Give me all of them. But currently SpaceX has my heart because they are doing just incredible things. So that's why I'm excited. That's what's going on today. It's a normal routine launch for SpaceX. Nothing too crazy, although there's some cool things that we'll have to see. Thank you in small portions. Merry Christmas, and thanks for the great content. Thank you very much. Have I heard any more news about the possible second stage recovery attempt of the Falcon Heavy flight? I have not heard anything more in small portions. Just so you guys know, actually, there probably will be no second stage recovery attempt on the payload for Falcon Heavy because unless they built a communications bus and any kind of control systems into that little payload adapter for the Tesla Roadster. Let me pull that up again. So unless this has its own communications bus and reaction control systems, which I don't think it does, it will probably need to stay attached to the second stage, which means the second stage will end up because they will be doing the injection to Mars. So of course they will not be recovering the second stage on the Falcon Heavy demo. Nope. Because second stage will be heading to Mars elliptical orbit. Sun synchronous elliptical orbit. So yeah, they will be eventually on missions where there's a lot of margin left over. They most likely will be working on supersonic, not even supersonic, hypersonic reentry, retro propulsion, and they'll probably start playing around with second stage just to see what it's like. Yeah. Did Paul Jr. in our Discord channel? Did they take extra measure to be extra sure they didn't hit Santa? Great question, Paul. I sure hope so. First, so yeah, this will be the first second stage to enter Sun orbit. You're right, because Discover DSSCVR, the Discover mission. I don't remember how you spell that. That was in a Lagrange point, but it's still in an Earth-Sun Lagrange point, so technically it's not left Earth's orbit-ish. Oh, I can't wait to see that video, Andrew, of the launch posted on WorldStar. That's going to be awesome. Thank you, Broken Life Cycle. Will the next CR mission, and thanks for the tip, thank you very much. Will the next CRS mission carry humans? Not the next one. They still have, I think, probably one, maybe two more CRS missions. But I think we'll probably see, it'll be a while, actually. There'll probably be 2 or 3 resupply missions that are still cargo. We'll probably see a cargo mission. Don't quote me on this, but I'm guessing we'd see a cargo mission with Dragon 2 happen before Crew even, as another final test flight. So, yeah. Let's see here. Just making sure I'm not missing anything here in my stream, in my patron stream. New Glenn versus BFR. Which one wins? Code M59. Great question. To me, New Glenn versus versus Falcon Heavy, because Falcon Heavy is actually more capable than BFR, just barely. But I think even that is a hard decision for me. I think it's really cool that they're going to be landing 3 boosters in a single launch. I'm super, super into that. But I think New Glenn's going to be amazing. It's just would be cool to see such a big diameter booster again. This thing's almost the same size as a Saturn V. It's huge. It's huge. And BFR is significantly more powerful and bigger than all those. It'd be more powerful than three New Glenns, basically. So I wouldn't compare BFR to New Glenn. I would compare BFR to Falcon Heavy. And I'm excited to see BFR fly, or New Glenn fly. I think New Glenn is awesome. I can't wait. I hope that they get everything going with their BE4 methane-powered engines on that baby. It's going to be awesome. Falcon Heavy is even more capable than New Glenn. That's correct. Will there be another launch today? Is that the question? No, there's not another launch today, but they are still coasting, so we will see one more ignition of the second stage in this mission. Again, SpaceX launches typically about every week or 2. I need to give a shout-out to my friends. I'm obsessed. There's an app called SpaceX Now. It's only available on iOS at this point. But I'm assuming you guys will be working on an Android version at some point. It's the best way. If you want to keep up with when a SpaceX launch is going to happen, that app is so good. It notifies you like 24 hours out, an hour out. It does such a good job. They include tweets, new tweets from SpaceX and hot Reddit threads. So good. And it even shows you in your local time zone when it's going to launch, which is something that I have the hardest time with when I'm looking at like Reddit and I'm like, oh, cool, it's at... I have to do math. You don't want me doing math. So, yeah. Andrew, thank you very much, Andrew. So Slick 4E has the old strongback that leans way back before launch. Do I think there's any rush to switch to the new style? Great question, Andrew. No, there's not a big rush. You know, initially, the Falcon Heavy was supposed to initially launch out of Vandenberg on that launch pad. And there really seems to be no signs that they have any real need for polar orbit missions with Falcon Heavy at this point. Probably because the Falcon 9 is so upgraded. It can do so much more than the version 1.0 of Falcon 9. So I don't think there's a big rush. Maybe someday, refurbishment costs are a lot less on this new strongback that falls away very quickly, goes to 45 degrees, gets out. A lot of the umbilicals are at the top of that strongback. So as that strongback swings out very far, it gets further away from the blast of the rocket, means less refurbishment. So, there is an Android version of SpaceX Now. That's great to know. I didn't know that happened. Thank you, Kung Fu Fat Bear, in our Discord channel for mentioning that. Sweet. There you go. So everyone, if you have a smartphone, if you don't, you probably can't use it. But if you have a smartphone, there you go. Please find SpaceX Now, the app. It's phenomenal. I just recently found it. A friend showed it to me, and I was like, oh, I don't need that, because I'm all up to date all the time. That app is incredible. So there you go. Where's your Lego Saturn V? You said you would buy me, and I want the Falcon Heavy model. Sorry, Clayman. Would I take a job opportunity at SpaceX if I were given one? Abraham, you'll see. I'm not getting a job at SpaceX. Don't at all. I would love to work for SpaceX, but I also have an obligation, I feel like, to still to be a public speaker about all things rockets and all things spaceflight. So as things change and as new companies come online, and I'd want to be able to still have no problems having my own opinion about such things, and hopefully talking about them with people. So if I worked for SpaceX, I feel like I'd be a little bit more beholden to their rules and their communications department. I'm working on some things that you'll see next year. What types of things I'm working on that I don't think it's a nice change in careers for me ish. And not change in careers. It's this basically, but you'll see why. And I think it'll be obvious why I wouldn't have time to work at SpaceX. So, need to know where stage one. Stage one is sleeping in the ocean. They did not recover it. They did all the stages of recovery. It did not have landing legs. It was a reflown booster. Did not have landing legs. But yeah, yes, that is the thing that flew over the sky, Andrew Gomez. Even though your thing was hidden. Yes, if you're in California, you did see probably a huge, beautiful plume. Dave Von Sonder. That is exactly the question that we ask, to a T, that we ask and answer in my video that I'm releasing tomorrow. It's a long video, but I promise it's worth watching. I'll answer that exact question in great detail, and you'll know exactly why it's more than just strapping 3 Falcon 9s together and why it took 5 years to develop. How will BFR compete with SLS? BFR will be a lot heavier lifting capability than even block whatever it's called, the biggest version of SLS. It'll be more powerful than that even. And recoverable, fully recoverable. So, yeah. Oh, man, I wish the next visible launch, those are always interesting because you don't actually know for sure when. It takes kind of the right amount of things. Like it has to be dark on the ground, and the rocket is 100 miles, 160 kilometers in altitude, or more at that point. And you just happen to have the right conditions right at dusk, and that's when you can see all those beautiful things. I can't wait to see those pictures. I bet it is amazing. Let's see. Hey, Brandon, we have some mods. I appreciate you coming around here. Please feel free to ask questions, but don't. We don't do that. So you'll be asked to not spam the channel. This rocket is heading into polar orbit, which means it's going around the poles, north and south. And with 66 of its friends, it will be covering the entire globe. So that's where it's going. It currently is just in a coasting orbit, and once you get to the other side, probably around, at this point, right around Madagascar, there's a tracking station in Madagascar, I believe, a ground tracking station. That's when they'll light up that second stage again. And we'll see feeds from that. You'll notice it's daytime. Last we saw the second stage, it was nighttime. Now it's daytime. We'll see views of the Earth from the second stage as it reignites. We'll be looking down onto the second stage, the vacuum engine of the Merlin 1D vacuum engine. Yeah, so second stage startup will be in about 3 minutes. Do you think we'll see the trip to Mars of the Roadster? I sure hope so, Eduardo. I sure hope so. We will see. Are those ground tracking stations SpaceX or NASA? That's a great question. I mean, I don't think they're even operated by technically NASA. I think it's some kind of global. NASA did in the 50s and 60s.
It's Falcon 9 flight of the Iridium 4 mission.
Just listen quick.
You can see the MVAC-D engine chilling in right now, getting ready for ignition coming up in less than a minute from now.
Fernando, you saw the first and second stage of a Falcon 9 rocket launching from Vandenberg Air Force Base.
That'll be just enough to raise us into a circular 625-kilometer orbit. Now, currently we're using cold nitrogen gas out of a couple of settling clusters at the bottom of the second stage to make sure that we have got the second stage pushed up against the fuel so that we have liquid in the inlets to the turbo pumps, so that when they start, they immediately start pulling propellant. So we're going to listen in right now for ignition of the upper stage engine. That'll run about 4 seconds. Then hopefully we'll hear the GNC engineer confirm a good orbit.
Richard Foy I will explain that gladly. So what you saw, there's videos of it. That's so cool. So the rocket used to be 2 pieces. Beautiful Falcon 9 rocket by Ollie Braun. Link in the description to his Twitter. So it used to be 2 pieces, and initially you were seeing all 9 engines lighting and igniting. going about 100 miles in altitude, about 4,000 miles an hour, about 6,000 kilometers an hour. And then what you saw eventually, probably the biggest plume you saw, was actually stage 2 ignition, which is when this upper stage separates from this first stage, and this second stage lit up.
Time of the upper stage engine and a good shutdown. And there it is in the background. Avionics GNC reports a nominal orbit insertion.
Perfect.
So that takes us through the second of the 2 planned firings of the upper stage engine. Now there's about a 5-minute wait right now before we begin the deploy sequence of the first of the 10 Iridium satellites. Now we'll bring you that deployment.
One second.
It'll take about 15 minutes to go from start to finish. So right now we're going to pause commentary while we wait for the 5 minutes to elapse, but then we'll come back and talk our way through the deployment of the 10 Iridium NEXT satellites. Now,
cool.
One reminder coming up. We are contacted with the Mauritius ground station right now. That's where our telemetry is coming from. We're over east of Africa, as you can see on the map right here. We'll be proceeding northward towards the Arabian Peninsula. And as we go along to the north, we will be handing off between several ground stations. And if you've watched us before, sometimes one of the Iridium satellites gets deployed right when we don't have telemetry, when we're doing what we call a handoff from one ground station to the next ground station. So if that happens, we may be a little late in confirming a satellite separation. But we're hoping to bring you possibly 9, maybe even all 10 of the deployments coming up. But for now, we'll be back in about 4.5 minutes to start the deployment sequence.
Okay, cool. We'll pause it there for a second. Okay, so again, sorry if you're just now tuning in. We have major audio issues. We had to play that through the speakers, so it's less than ideal. But back to that plume you saw. So when the first stage of the Falcon 9, this rocket launches almost every 2 weeks at this point. Most of the time out in Florida, you can only see it either fully at night, or what you guys got to see on the West Coast, those of you wondering, you caught it in these perfect conditions where it's just after sunset, and just the right conditions where it's light enough outside and you can see all the cool things. And most likely what you saw is the second stage ignition creates a really big plume. And then the first stage flips back like this. And this continues off into space and has to go 4 times faster. This first stage flips using more nitrogen thrusters, so you see a few more lights. And then it ignites 3 of its 9 Merlin sea level engines. And that's a boost back burn. So you're able to see then 2 lights. The second stage kept going. The first stage, after about 10 to 20 seconds, shut off those ignitions. So you'd see a whole sequence of really exciting events. And people are asking, what's with the plume? Now they are venting oxygen into space. And that's what you can see it turning into a solid there at some of the exhaust nozzles, the venting nozzles, which is crazy awesome. Let me put this back very, very, very carefully. This is the scariest part of my job. I did it. I made it. All right, let me also do this while we're just waiting for our coast period to occur. Okay. Toxic, we just went through what the light was. It was a Falcon 9 rocket, first and second stage. Yes, that's exactly what it was. Again, these launch almost every 2 to 3 weeks right now, but most of the time it's in Florida. This launch happened to be a polar orbit for the customer Iridium. They're launching 10 satellites. This was a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket heading southwards from Vandenberg Air Force Base. And so you were seeing the first and second stage. All right. SpaceX, who else? Who else is working on recovery? Great question, Kodum. Any other customers working directly on recovery besides... That's China apparently is supposedly working on it. ULA on their Vulcan rocket, they will be recovering the engines using a parafoil. Yeah, we will see. It's that will be a long time though. It'll be like 5 years before they even attempt to recover the engines. They will have like a heat shield, inflatable heat shield, and then parachutes. Very Kerbal. People ask me that all the time. Why don't they use that? And you'll see why. It's probably going to be super expensive, and they don't even recover the whole first stage. So we're done with burns. Helpful tips. The second stage is done, basically. It just has to stay in proper orientation, and eventually the payload adapter has 10 pieces of, or 10 different satellites that pop off. So, yeah. First stage is in the ocean. Yeah, landing in the sea. What is this, 2009? Is that what you said? Hey, yeah. Yes, we will be doing a video of Blue Origin versus SpaceX. Hang on. Sorry again, this will be quiet.
And we have separation of the first Iridium satellite. You can see it at the bottom left of the screen drifting away. An on-time separation. Now every 100 seconds will begin a sequence where satellite 2, 3, 4, and continuing on will deploy. So
Okay.
1 down, 9 to go, and we'll be back at time for the next deployment.
I'll probably just mute them. They're just going to say the same thing for all 10, so I'll just keep answering you guys' questions. Yes, we do shipbuilder. We do know why they did not recover it. Full screen, please. Oh, sorry. We'll do that. So here's why they didn't recover the first stage this time. This was a reflown booster. These are Block 3 boosters. This is a booster that is not meant to be reflown really more than once or twice. They still have to do a decent amount of refurbishment on that booster in order to refly it again. And they've landed more than a dozen. They've landed, they technically probably have 16 cores now, ish. That they've landed 20 cores, 17 in a row now, or 21 cores, 17 in a row now. Or no, they didn't land this one. Sorry, they've landed 20 cores, 16 in a row of attempted landings. But these Block 3 boosters are not their upgraded. The Block 5 will be coming out next year, which is meant to be reused often and over, 10 times at least before major refurbishment. So at this point, they just have a bunch of Block 3s lying around. It's not worth them recovering. So when will they start building BFR? They're kind of technically starting it now. I mean, they have pieces. They're working on the tanks. They're definitely working on the engineering, huge carbon fiber tanks like that can handle cryogenics, which is very difficult. Another successful Iridium satellite. I'm just going to make sure they're not going to say anything cool. Yeah, they're stacking 2 layers at 5. All right, good stuff. How many flights can Block 4 booster do? So, Lewis, Block 4 is, as far as I understand, it's kind of like a Frankenstein. It's kind of an in-between stages. It's almost like them testing Block 5 stuff on Block 3 boosters. So there isn't a defined Block 4. I just kind of hear it be a hodgepodge. That's my understanding. I might be wrong about that. That's sort of a mixture between speculation and just what I've understood from different people. But I don't know if there really will ever be an official Block 4. So, yeah. No, their landing streak's still good there, Tobias, because they've done some expendable launches in between. So if they aren't attempting to land it, it's not considered a part of their streak. It doesn't go against their streak. So they still are on a streak of landing. So as soon as if they have one crash on a landing platform, that would be considered against their streak. So, yeah. Let's see. See you later, Clayman. It was a soft landing considered a successful landing. That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think it'll go down as a successful landing. So, why are there versions called Block? That's something I need to figure out, guys. And if anybody knows, this is probably something we'll talk a lot about in Discord. I'm actually personally a little bit confused with Block versus their 1 point whatever Block iteration changes. Okay, yep, no big deal. Now we just get to look at John Innsbrucker's face, something I enjoy doing on the regular. What were we saying? Block 5. So I'm still a little bit confused if Block 1 is version 1.0 of the Falcon 9 and Block 2 was 1.1 and Block 3 was Block 1.2, or if all these block changes are just a version fuller thrust. I would love to know. Let's see. Apollo had blocks. Yep, block is... It's a common nomenclature in aerospace. Yep. How much time does it take to travel here to Mars? Eduardo, that's a good question. The most optimal time, and if you're going for purely efficiency, it takes 9 months, basically. With a big, heavy rocket, if you have extra delta V, extra basically gas mileage to speed up and slow down, then it can be done in as little as 5 months, really. Even it could be done sooner, but most realistically, 5-ish months. How How can you join my Discord? It is in Patreon supporters. So go to patreon.com/everydayastronaut and you can see how to become a Patreon member. So thank you. It sounds like we had some new patron members. Let me know if you guys become a Patreon member here in the chat so I can thank you personally, because that, again, sincerely means an insane amount. So thank you. Yeah, there we go. Carl has a great answer there. Basically, normal landing minus the landing legs and minus the barge, the landing boat. Thank you. The current Soyuz is very reliable. Jeff, thank you so much, and you're welcome for my time. I love doing this. I absolutely love. I'm here cheering by myself. I might as well be cheering with all of you guys and answering whatever questions I can. So thank you very much for your donation. Sincerely, Tim Dodd. That sounded like a letter. How will the BFR control its gimbal during launch? How do the gimbal controls work anyway? So, don't confuse gimbaling of an engine with a gimbal. There's a navigation ball, typically called a nav ball, has gimbals inside it. But gimbal is basically something that steers. And for instance, with the Falcon 9, all 9 engines have TVC, thrust vector controls. They're hydraulic actuators that can move the engine in any direction X and Y, not on the Z. They can't move up and down, but left, right, like that, up and down. And it's going to be the same thing with the BFR, but I don't think the very outer ring will steer. I don't think, but maybe it will. But basically of those, what is it? How many engines are going to be on that thing now? 30. They changed it from 40 down to like 33 or something. There's a different amount of engines now. But yeah, the inner engines... There we go. The interior engines steer. So the inner engines will have those gimbals. So that's how they do it. Let's see. Does the whole engines move when gimbling or just the engine bell? It's actually basically the entire thing. The chamber and everything. There's pivot points up near the chamber. And but then there's piping. Yeah, that's it. Most of it moves with the gimbal. Yeah. That solid oxygen is super interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting to me too. I can't believe it doesn't actually clog up. I always get nervous that like that's going to clog and then it won't be able to eject the overpressurization of the oxygen. Let's see. SpaceX breaking ground at Vandenberg. Let's see. And again, I'm just to remind you guys, stay tuned for in about 12 hours from now, maybe a little more than that, maybe 14 or 15 hours from right now. So tomorrow morning for me, I will be launching a very comprehensive Falcon heavy video. We worked a lot. My Patreon members, they helped me script. I owe you guys a huge, sincere thank you. There's a good amount of you guys now, and I really appreciate all the input. They get to see the videos beforehand. They get to give me input. And literally, they'll be like, "Hey, you missed." I accidentally said they've test fired 1,000 engines, and I believe it was, who was that? Speak up if you're around right now. But somebody in our Discord channel caught, our Patreon Discord channel caught that they've static fired 5,600 Merlin engines. So yeah, great catch. So it's very fun. It's great getting feedback from you guys. So yeah, thanks Rocket Lads. Thanks for hanging out. You can contact Ollie on Twitter, I believe. Yeah, I bet people are just in California are just freaking out right now. No, this will cause no tension with the U.S. and North Korea, Nathan. These happen all the time. Launches happen around the world all the time. Once a week, multiple people. Multiple countries are launching rockets. This has nothing to do with international nuclear threats. North Korea should be very aware of our ability to easily launch rockets into space with very heavy payloads. So, yeah. What is SpaceX? Great question, actually. SpaceX is a private rocket company owned by billionaire Elon Musk. Elon Musk also makes Tesla cars. If you've ever heard of a car company called Tesla, they're my favorite cars. They're all electric. He also co-founded PayPal. Didn't actually found it. That's where he kind of made his money, and now he started two two projects, SpaceX and Tesla. And they launched massive rockets. These rockets are 220 feet tall, which is 70 meters tall. They're huge. They can deliver very heavy satellites and soon next year people into orbit. They're very powerful. They're reusable. They land back on land. Check out some of my check out my videos here on YouTube. I have Beginner's Guide to SpaceX, and literally the first thing I answer is, what is SpaceX? So find that Beginner's Guide to SpaceX Part 1, then watch Part 2. By the end of that, hopefully you'll have a really good understanding of who SpaceX is and what they do, and why it's so exciting, because it clearly is exciting. We still have 1,200 people watching at this point, currently in animation. Yeah, so, yeah, he also started the Boring Company. Yeah, it's great. X.com became PayPal. That's correct, John. Well, the first BFR landing on Mars land on its thruster cones on the rocky surface without landing legs. It now still, believe it or not, it does still have landing legs. There's 4 of them now instead of 3 like the old BFR. They're just these little pegs that kind of come out from 4 corners. You can barely see it in some other renderings, so it will land on landing legs. Yes, the normal Falcon 9 will be taking people into space next year already. NASA has already bought seats, not suits, and suits, I guess, on the newly or yet to be launched Dragon 2 capsule. So you can actually see it here on my Falcon Heavy. Let me see if you can actually see that. You might not be able to see that right now. Yeah, you can. The top of the Falcon Heavy there has a Dragon 2 capsule sitting on it. It's similar to the Dragon 1. I'll be doing a video about that soon. Dragon 1 versus Dragon 2, what the differences are. And that is capable of carrying people into space. So for now, they will be the only paying customers at this point. Besides, there's supposedly 2 people doing a lunar flyby, basically. But other than that, it will just be astronauts going up to the International Space Station. So where's my helmet? It's actually boop, right there. I have, Walter. I have streamed from the launch pad. And I go to launches whenever I can. I live in Iowa, so I'm very far away from both launch sites, but I have streamed. I streamed CRS-12 from the Causeway with the press. I shoot occasionally for spaceflightnow.com, and yeah, I set up pad cameras. So, for instance, see that picture here? That's CRS-3, the first SpaceX mission with landing legs. That was my first launch I ever photographed. You can find those pictures on my website, everydayastronaut.com, and then go to shop, everydayastronaut.com/shop. And you can find my pictures of launches. I've done Delta 4 Heavy. I've done 3 SpaceX launches. There's some other ones that weren't very good and even worth posting. So, but you can check out those. Yeah. I will be at Falcon Heavy. Period. I absolutely have to see that with my face. So yeah. Kung Fu Fat Bear says very far away. He has to take a 16-hour flight. I'm sorry to rub it in. Yeah, but I have to drive 21 hours when I drive. Typically, when I go down, I have huge bags with all the gear in it, so I can't really fly with all that stuff, especially if I take the stupid spacesuit with me. When is there going to be a launch window towards Mars? There's one in 2018, one in 2020, 2022. They're every 26 months. The next one is 2018, though. 9th payload. There's only one more satellite to deploy. Well, that's cool. You can see, yeah, those other bright dots there. You can see those. Those are the other Iridium satellites that have already been deployed. That's awesome. Yes, there's still one more satellite to go. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up. There's 100... Oh, geez. Guys, hold on. Do I think NASA will be interested in using Dragon version 2 for manned lunar flybys? Lewis, I think so. I do think SpaceX already has 2 paying customers that are willing to do that. I don't know if NASA... The problem is, how would you get NASA excited about doing something that they did 40, 50 years ago? A lunar flyby, that is. I don't know if NASA would ever want to be a customer for that, unless it's like, say, going to a cislunar space station or something cool, or a space station that's in lunar orbit. I think you'd have a hard time selling the public on, hey, let's just buy some seats on a Falcon Heavy and a Dragon 2 capsule and send it off to the moon. It's not very beneficial, but tourism, heck yes. That would be the ultimate tourist flight. So, yeah. How many satellites you got here? There are 10. There's one more to be deployed, so... NASA is relatively poor, but they're relatively well funded at the same time. It's important to know context. Yes, it's not like this Saturn V era, but they're not crazy poor. They're just only getting 1/30th out of the Department of Defense, but that's another topic. $40 in orbit in 2018. That's amazing. They've launched 40 Iridium satellites into orbit this year. That's so cool. Alexander, I'll bet California is freaking out right now, thinking that a UFO flew around, and I can't wait for them to not accept what actually happened. How much would I pay to take a trip around the moon? Luke, I like that question, because that is about as much as I'd want to do. I would potentially land on the moon if there's somewhere cool to hang out. But realistically, honestly, I think I would be able to save up, and I would probably spend $50,000 if it was an option to fly around the moon. I know that's nothing compared to the probably $50 million that it will cost, but maybe someday I can. I can hope. Yeah. Are they attempting payload recovery? No, there is payload fairing recovery. Maybe I think they did, but they have not talked about it. Just making sure they're not talking about that right now. 1 second.
Deployed all 10 of the Iridium NEXT satellites. So that completes 2017 for SpaceX, including 4 flights for our Iridium customer. All the flights this year outstanding, only looking for even more in 2018. We want to thank our Iridium NEXT customer, of course, as well as the government agencies that supported us, the U.S. Air Force for range support out of Vandenberg, and our licensing agency, the Federal Aviation Administration. We invite you to follow us on social media.
Yep, just the normal stuff. Okay. Is there enough fuel left on the second stage to deorbit? I believe so, yes. They deorbit these ones. Unfortunately, there is no static fire of Falcon Heavy this year. It will be early January, so. Yep. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pop to this because they are done now. Everyone, round of applause for SpaceX for a phenomenal year. I'll go ahead and reiterate some stats. I hope I'm right on this. I believe that was their 5th reused booster from 0 in history to 5 in a year. That's amazing. They had, 18 or 19 launches this year then. That's insane. That's fantastic. Great job, SpaceX. My friends at SpaceX, my family at SpaceX, thank you guys for all your hard work. We appreciate it. Us normal mortals here on Earth appreciate all your crazy hard work. It does not go unnoticed. Your sleepless nights. Thank you guys very, very, very much. So let's go ahead and let's pull up. I'm going to pull up here while I have that down. I'm going to find some of the. I'm just going to look up UFO LA UFO and see if there's anything new. 11/17. We're going to go upload date. 5 minutes ago. Here we go, guys. I'm going to pull this up here real quick. Oh, that is amazing. Hang on. I got to pull this up for you guys. I can see why people would be freaking out. Look at this. Oh, yeah. I'll bet LA is going nuts right now. That's so cool. Okay, we're gonna see if there's any others like that. Is there a way for me to go back without? Here we go. Oh, this is so cool, guys. Sorry if there's. Oh yeah, you guys can't hear it. Good. That's probably a good thing because there's some non-PG-13. This is so cool. Oh, I'll bet they thought there's just a straight up alien invasion happening right now. That's amazing. Now a lot of people, there's X million number of people in LA that are now going to know who SpaceX is if they didn't already. So that's hilarious. Oh, man. Oh, I'll bet people were this guy's half panicking. If you could hear the audio, it's funny. So, again, in case you're here, look at that. That's so great. Again, if you're here asking what that thing is, Let me answer your questions. It was SpaceX launching a Falcon 9 rocket. They do this often, every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, but most of the time it's in Florida. You guys out on the West Coast get a launch every couple months, every 2 months. But this was the perfect conditions where the Falcon 9 it's 100 miles in altitude, 160 kilometers in altitude. It's still in sunlight. It's daylight up at that launch. So you're seeing all the plume in fully illuminated daylight, but you guys are down there at night. So that's why you're able to see the smoke trail from the first stage, and then there's a big plume of separation. And there's 2 lights. That's the first and second stage after separation. So, yeah. So very exciting. I wish I could have seen that. Man. This guy's still going nuts. This video is hilarious. Like pandemonium. I'm going to see what else there is. This is so great. These videos are... Oh, that looks awesome. Hey, if you guys want to have some fun tonight, everyone go on... Not fun. I guess my idea of fun is educating people. But go on there and send them the link to the SpaceX launch. And teach them what SpaceX was doing tonight. Why this is exciting. Give them a nice little write-up. Hey, this was SpaceX launching a Falcon 9 out of Vandenberg Air Force Base. It took off at blah, 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 blah. What was it? Your time, like 5:30, 5:27 or something. Went into a polar orbit, delivering 10 satellites for Iridium NEXT. There we go. I think we really do need to be informing people. There's millions of people panicking right now. And we want them to be excited about what actually happened. And what actually happened was awesome. It was a great, successful launch. And maybe this will be the start of their new love of space exploration, and specifically SpaceX in this case too. Hopefully that's just a cornerstone for them to get into all of it. So yeah, I think that's freaking awesome. That's so cool. I really wish I could have seen that. Hey Johnny Six, thank you very much. This is the 47th time they've launched the Falcon 9 Tyran. You might be thinking they will be launching a Falcon Heavy here soon. That's this one. This is the Falcon 9. Yeah. Luke, I have a video all about that. Luke Graybill, I have a video all about SpaceX's plans for Earth-to-Earth transportation using the BFR. I think it's my second most recent video. Check that out. I answered that exact question in great detail. So check that out. Subscribe here. Be informed about everything space. Glenn, I did watch the Blue Origin capsule launch with the mannequin on top of it. Yeah, that was freaking awesome. Very excited about that. But guys, I have some bad news. I'm going to have to head out here really soon. I had a sore throat today, and after talking for 2 more hours, my throat's killing me. I haven't eaten dinner yet. It's late here in Iowa. I'm going to have to head out here soon, but I do want to, if there's any other questions you guys have, I would love to know. UFO social experiment gone sexual. It did look kind of phallic / reproductive. Press Z for Falcon Heavy. Corey, you'll never get me with that again. That was so funny. I play Kerbal Space Program sometimes. I'll be doing a live stream of Kerbal very soon, especially once my throat feels better. I told people I'd be making a Buran, which is a Russian space shuttle. And in Kerbal Space Program, if you hit Z, it does full throttle. And one time I had a landed booster, and someone goes, press Z. I'd press Z, and now it's the bane of my existence. Yeah, that was great. And thank you, Allie, for doing all that. It's kind of late for dinner, I guess, for me. I'm an early dinner kind of guy. Yeah, and make sure to tell your guys' friends if they have questions about SpaceX to come hang out here. And that's so cool. I love this footage. To come hang out here, find me here. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you search Everyday Astronaut on any of those things, my handle is almost always Everyday Astronaut. But you guys can find me. There's only 2 that's different. One of them's Twitter. It's Day Astronaut. But follow me there. I do sneak peeks of my upcoming videos and some other things. So, let's see. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully next time, guys, I promise we'll finally have a perfectly smooth live stream. I've only had like 2 perfectly smooth live streams. At this point, it's just going to be a running joke. What's going to go wrong in Tim's live stream today? So, I will be working my hardest to make sure it's the best possible experience for you guys. I might end up just getting another recorder here that I can do some work with that will help us stream better. So I will be trying very, very hard. So show Falcon Heavy video now. Stop procrastinating. It'll be tomorrow. Don't forget to book your Airbnb for Falcon Heavy. I've got friends to stay with down there for Falcon Heavy. Don't you worry, Walter. I will be there. Yeah, and again, a big ol' shout out to my friends in the Discord channel. Those Patreons who are donating $10 a month have access to our Discord channel where they help me. We do a lot of cool things. We script. We have great in-depth conversations about things. My Patreons are amazing. So thank you guys. If you want to become a Patreon, patreon.com/everydayastronaut. Link in the description. Thank you guys so much. I think I'm going to go ahead and do my sign off here. But thank you guys for hanging out and asking great questions. Join me next time. I promise it will be a smoother experience next time. Hopefully. And thank you so much to all of you that donated for the holidays. That meant the world to me. Thank you. Sincerely. Stay tuned tomorrow. We've got that awesome video dropping about Falcon Heavy. I hope you really like it. Share it. Let everyone know that let me know if you learned something. Let me know if there's something wrong. I'm sure I'll hear plenty if there is something wrong. But I'm really excited about this one, so share it with a friend. And everyone have a safe and fun and stress-free holidays. If you have a holiday coming up, I hope that you can enjoy time with family and not have it be stressful, because holidays can be stressful for everybody. So I appreciate all of you guys coming in here. Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate you guys being here. That's going to do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people. Bye-bye, everyone. I think we all dreamt about going to space when we were kids. But when the space shuttle program ended in 2011, I discovered a void in my life. That emptiness led to a newfound obsession with space. A few years later, I wound up bidding on a Russian spacesuit as a joke. When the box arrived at my doorstep, my friends asked, "What are you going to do with a spacesuit?" The answer? What can't I do with a spacesuit? And that's how Everyday Astronaut was born. Since then, the suit hasn't left my side. It's even gone around the world with me. From remote villages in Myanmar, rockets and spaceships. To beautiful fields in Norway. I'm fighting a cow to get a picture right now.
Here I am on vacation in the beautiful Norway with my beautiful boyfriend.
I even proposed to my wife in the suit at Machu Picchu in Peru. These days I work with leaders in the space industry to create fun and inspirational content. I've even been invited to different NASA facilities across the country, all for the sake of sharing my excitement with the world.
Hey there, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, but NASA is doing some incredible things. This is church for us space nerds.
This is where Gene Kranz was sitting when people first got on. This is with permission. I still don't know how. I love that I'm standing on something that says urine bags.
This thing's gonna fly like a cat in heat. Whatever that means. That dog's gonna have a sore throat by the end of the day, I'll tell you that. Especially once he tries to explain to his friends that he just saw an astronaut flying majestically through the sky for an hour.
This thing has officially become the bane of my existence.
Everyday Astronaut's mission is to bring space down to Earth for everyday people, to communicate science through humor and imagination, but most importantly, to spark your curiosity, to want to find your place in the cosmos. Join my adventures as I seek to find out why exploring space is important, inspiring, and quite frankly, really, really neat. Show your support by visiting patreon.com/everydayastronaut.